Nya sian, nya da electric scooty. Mat ikalawe jong shaka. One shot Quincy waters damping Shillong, but kaliang no shaka 8 hamunagas. Ribhoi College, ringgal ka Ïatai lang bat ka Nehru Yuva Kendra Sangathan lembat ka NSS unit ka Ribhoi College. Manta ka si lapan lang ka limpong Ïatai lan ka district level Viksit Bharat Youth Parliament. Hakaba laban kya Halor ka Phang, one nation one election. Hakaba lawan ban shimbantari Samla Pule ki college prepare na Ribhoi district. Kumban pen kan mau ka ka limpong Viksit Bharat Youth Parliament kadai kawai na kalimpong balawan ra hakalengkari India. Hakabala ailat kerpang ya baro ki khun Samla banya shimbenta banyoy ka hok banya tayat hir Halor kariti sanchar padba. Hakane ka jing aya ay jingmon Halor kati ka Phang kawai kari kawai ka election. Lawan ban shimbenta ru ki nong bishar bakantop ya ka Dr. Elizabeth Kharkungor principal ka Ribhoi College uba Matthew Kenneth Makdo uba di Rapsang District Youth Officer ka kong E Kharnayor ka ka head of department ka subject philosophy but usamla Victor Suleng ubade uway ni ki Samla Pule law na USTM. La sakhi hakane ka sngi bagi Samla Pule ki lapan pawi ki jingmod bapher par klapin shong shedru manya karen Halor kati ka Phang kawai kari kawai ka election lani one nation one election. Hakabakot kati ka limpong yathir la samru iki khusna but ika kerdan balai lawan usamla Paulus Pangcho kerdan baar lawan Samla lapin janai sindram but haka kerdan ka bandingkong lawan dekat Samla Babylon lingdo but kini ki langut ki Samla na Ribhoi ki lakhur ya ka jingjob kinyo banyashim benta hakate ka jo ka limpong ka ban sa longpat hak state level.
I request
has steadily evolved to provide a formal platform for the young voices across India to engage in meaningful discussion about national issues. So over the years, participation has grown significantly and each edition culminated in the top winners addressing the youth at the Central Hall of Parliament. I think you all know about this. The winners of the district level, we are going to select 10 participants to represent this district to the state level. And in the state level, the program will be held at the assembly, and from there 3 participants will be selected to represent our state. So this year, the National Youth Parliament Festival, which we called before, has transformed into the Viksit Bharat Youth Parliament, aligning with the Viksit Bharat 2047 vision. This transformation reflects the Prime Minister 2017 vision to foster 1 lakh youth leader who will drive India's future development. The new format focuses on creating dynamic, solution-oriented youth leaders capable of contributing meaningfully to India's growth trajectory. The reimagined or redesigned event will feature offline round, as I have said, at the district level, state level, and national level, offering the opportunity to engage deeply with the national issues and interact with policymakers in development discourse. So, why we are organizing this Viksit Bharat? I'll just let you know regarding the objective of this. Number 1 is to amplify youth voices and to provide a platform for the youth, as the principal has said, aged between 18 to 25 years of age, to deliberate on national issues right from the district, state, and to the national level. The number 2 is to encourage the public engagement, foster youth involvement in public issues, encouraging them to understand the viewpoints of ordinary citizens and form their own opinion and express them effectively. And number 3 is to develop decision-making skills, to encourage the development of critical thinking and decision-making abilities among the youth. And number 4 is to foster respect and tolerance, cultivate an environment where respect for diverse opinions is essential, promoting tolerance and understanding. And number 5 is to promote rule adherence.
India has been called the golden bird, but now our nation Bharat is becoming a fearless, unapologetic roaring lion, and it is on the verge to become a Viksit nation. So regards to the topic, the idea of one nation and one election aim to synchronize Lok Sabha and state legislative assembly to streamline governance, reduce costs and enhance democratic participation. So the first thing I want to point that I've noted down about how one nation, one election can pave the way for a Viksit Bharat is cost efficiency. It can help in reducing election expensive affairs, requiring significant resources for polling, security, logistics, and more importantly, our priority, significant resource, potential, that is manpower. Also, it can help billions of money in conducting election, which this could be used for development project, implementing schemes, and also infrastructure development. Secondly, it can help in focusing on governance, by which election happening less frequently, political parties and politicians can improve or can focus on governance and policy making rather than constantly campaigning. Also, voter could be spared from having to vote frequently, which this would increase political participation and voter engagement. On the other hand, it can also improve political planning, with this help in political stability that lead to a stronger and a stable nation, and also a well-known, well-formed government, and also less frequent election cycle in which party would engage more in forming debates about national issues, about national interest, about national concern and development of programs. Lastly, most important profound point is it will help boost national integration, where a single day of election could help create a sense of national unity through unified electoral process. And also it can reduce regionalism that can promote a balanced view of national and local concern of the citizens of India. However, some things are on the negative sides of this one nation, one election idea, such as federalism at risk. But it is not that strict. You see, like so many countries like Sweden and South Africa have already implemented these ideas. So I wish we all together as citizens of India join hands together, bind together to work on the path or to fulfill the dreams of our Honorable Prime Minister that have already thought about this. So with these few words I conclude my speech. Thank you so much for your time.
Viksit Bharat. The concept of one nation, one election proposes synchronizing Lok Sabha and state assembly elections across India. This reform has been discussed as a step towards Viksit Bharat, developed India, by improving governance, reducing electoral process and ensuring political stability. However, it also presents many challenges, including federalism, implementation and democratic representation. Merits of one nation and one elections are follows: cost reduction. Frequent elections leads to huge expenditures by the government and political practices. Synchronizing elections would significantly cut costs related to election management, security and logistics. Political stability. Simultaneous elections can reduce the cycles of political stability caused by frequent polls, ensuring continuity in governance and decision-making, enhance voters' turnout. A single, well-planned elections could improve voter participation by making the electoral process more engaging and less tenuous. The merits of one nation and one elections are threats to federalism. India's constitution allows the states to have their own electoral timeline. Forcing synchronization may dilute the autonomy of state government. Constitutional amendments. Implementing this initiative would necessitate significant constitutional changes, including amendments to Articles 83, 85, 172 and others, which govern the tenures of legislative bodies. While one nation, one election could enhance governance efficiency and political stability, it poses significant challenges related to federalism, logistics, and democratic representation. However, by careful planning and reforms, legal reforms and consensus building among stakeholders are very crucial before implementation. If executed effectively, it could pave the way of Viksit Bharat Youth Parliament by ensuring a more significant, stable and development-focused political stability, fostering India's visions of Viksit Bharat by 2047. Thank you.
On One Nation, One Election, how it paved the way for Viksit Bharat. What is this One Nation, One Election? A proposal introduced by the Government of India on 17th of December 2024 synchronized election process where elections to the Lok Sabha, state legislative assemblies and other local bodies are conducted simultaneously. India, the largest democracy in the world, has long grappled with the challenges of frequent election. To put in perspective, frequent election put a financial strain on the government, state and its resources. According to a report, the 2019 Lok Sabha election alone cost over 60,000 crore and the 2024 election nearly 1.35 lakh crore. Many call it a wasteful expenditure. If you combine with the expenditure of the elections of the state assemblies of the same year, the cost is enormous. Instead, such a huge amount can bring more developmental projects to our nation. For instance, many people in rural areas die. Why? Because of limited access to healthcare. They have to travel far distances to reach the hospitals in the urban centers, which result in delaying of the treatment. And also, remote areas often have few schools, making it difficult for children to walk to far places. These students from remote regions have enormous potential and are willing to learn, but they lack the proper coaching and poverty. People in the rural areas prefer their kids to work hard and earn money and get married at a very young age. As a result, enrollment rates are low while dropout rates are greater. One Nation, One Election will drastically reduce the expenditure of the government spent on election and focus on these type of challenges faced by the citizens. Frequent election also disrupt policy making and divert the government focus from governance to election. Politicians of the ruling will be busy with electioneering rather than governance. Simultaneous election will ensure continuity in governance and ensuring developmental projects are completed without unnecessary delay. This will allow the government to prioritize policy making and long-term planning instead of being in constant election year. Simultaneous election also improve voter engagement. Suppose if a person is working or studying in Chennai but has a vote in Shillong, he will not be able to come to Shillong to vote in every election. But if election is held at one time, there's a higher chance that he will do it, as it will be easy for him to travel once a time. It is of my view that if One Nation, One Election is conducted, a huge reduction in cost is available for the government for the expenditure that can include in the developmental projects which will improve the economy of our nation. Also, the government will have sufficient time to concentrate on governance, policy making and development for achieving the aims and objectives of Viksit Bharat. With this, I conclude my speech. Thank you and jylla.
Bharat. This is not an idea, but a powerful initiative that can streamline government, enhance efficiency, and accelerate the nation's development. India is a vast and diverse country with a multiple layer of government. Every month we experience election season, whether for the Lok Sabha, State Assembly and local bodies. While elections are the battle of democracy, they often bring them with a disruption. Now imagine a scenario have a synchronized election system, there is one nation, one election. This will mean that election of the Lok Sabha, State Assembly and local election will be held at the same time. And these are clearly that will contribute to a fixed Bharat. The benefit of one nation, one election are numerous, like economic efficiency, reducing election expense can be contribute more in the project development, enhance government, minimizing disruption and policy prices enable commerce to consumers, unify national union, synchronized election foster a national vision of government of unity and coherence. However, we must know to acknowledge the challenge that come with this system. India, a federal structure, a regional diversity present, and many of states have their own different issues. No matter how small or hard, it also requires a significant and coordination to execute this system. But with careful thought and coordination, this challenge we can be overcome. In my conclusion, one nation, one election is not just a proposal. It is a step toward more organized action and focused government. By reducing election disruption, we channel our energy and resource into a building of fixed Bharat. Can you take it?
Paving the way for the fixed Bharat. In India's every democracy, simultaneous elections were the norms. From 1952 to 1967, Lok Sabha and State Assembly were held together. But this cycle was disrupted due to premature dissolution of state assemblies and the Lok Sabha in 1968 to 1970. Since then, frequent elections have become norms. This raised concerns about governance, disruptions, and financial burdens. In 2019 election, it cost around 6,000 crore. Supporters claimed simultaneous election could save up to 1.5% of India's GDP. Countries like Sweden, South Africa, Belgium follow simultaneous election. Does India means that it has to follow? Well, it's tough to say because they follow proportional representation and we follow the first past the post systems. At first glance, one election, one nation seems like an efficient solution. It promised to reduce time, reduce costs, and streamline governance. While these benefits sound promising, let us not forget that democracy is not merely about reducing costs. It's about empowering every citizen. First and foremost, implementing one election, one nation risks overshadowing regional parties and issues. Diverse nations like India, regional parties play a crucial role in representing a local interest. Ladies and gentlemen, can we truly call ourselves a democracy, or just one nation, one election paving the way to fixed Bharat, if the regional issues are not concerned? For example, the farmers in Punjab are sidelined. Frequent elections may be seen as a burden, but they are essential for accountability. They force leaders to remain connected to the constituents' needs. Regulations on campaign spending help reduce the overall financial burdens. Voters' elections and engagements enhance coordinations. By adopting these strategies, it reduces the cost of the time. Instead of focusing on one election, why not aim initiatives like one nation, one education, one nation, one healthcare, or one nation, one tax? These policies will generally promote development while respecting regional identities. Imagine a country where every child has access to quality education regarding other states. This is the essence of the Viksit Bharat. One election represents appealing visions of efficiency. It poses significant risks and democratic fabric and policy representation. Let us focus on policy that unite us through education, healthcare, and equitable governance without compromising our diverse democracy. With this, I conclude my say. Thank you, Khubor, Jai Hind.
Mission and vision for developed India by 2047 has a proposal to reform its political structure and events and to improve its political and economic field. For paving the way to Viksit Bharat, India suggests a one nation, one election with an objective to cutting the election costs and expenditure and synchronize election in the country. The agenda of one nation, one election gives the opportunity to political thinkers of India to take initiative in reforming the structure of democracy and to transform India into a well-developed democracy as well. Since India is the largest democracy in the world, it needs to have strong pillars and to provide more skeletons to support and strengthen the largest democracy of the nation. The idea of one nation, one election gets into the mind of and thinking of young people and the youth of nation that it is just not politically strong but also held in economically strong. It possesses many advantages to all the citizens of India to exercise their power to ensuring a well-functioning government and the government itself ensuring good governance to the people of the nation. One nation, one election gives more time for the administration to focus on development activities rather than electioneering. It helps in implementation of the government policies in time, reducing the strain on administrative setup and security forces, and most important, it saves the public money. Since practices of the present election protocol is very costly and election take place continuously, it disturbs the smooth flow of development in all over the country at a particular time and particular place during election. So in conclusion, one election, one nation improves the nation in economic and political aspect as it reduces mainly in the wastage of money and public money and to ensuring smooth flow of development in all over the country. So one nation, one election, paving, guiding, improving the nation for Viksit Bharat. Also at the meantime, in order to fulfill our dream on Viksit Bharat, we need the spirit of unity in the heart of each and every citizens of India as one country, one nation, one earth. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Is a proposed electoral reform in India that aims to synchronize the election of Lok Sabha, State Legislative Assembly and local bodies. These mean that instead of having multiple elections throughout the year, India will have a single election day for all levels of governments. This idea behind this reform is to reduce the frequency of election, which can disrupt governance and divert resources by having a single election day. The government will focus on the development and governance instead of constantly preparing for election. One nation, one election is a step toward achieving Viksit Bharat, a vision for a development and a self-reliant India. While challenges remain, but the 129 Constitution Amendment bills mark a significant steps towards institutionalize one nation and one election. One nation and one election can define India's democratic process, paving the way for a more efficient and inclusive future. As we know, currently India spends more than 1,000 crores for a Lok Sabha election. And is that something that we really need to spend so much on? Or are we actually neglecting more important things like education and health personalities? As an Indian citizen, we don't require a country which is constantly in a mode of election, but we require a country which focuses toward the development of nation for a progressive country. It also helps to save public money by reducing election-related expense. Only this small speech. Thank you so much.
Is uninterrupted, where policies are implemented without delays, and where the burden of election is minimized. This is the vision of one nation, one election. India, the world's largest democracy, is trapped in a cycle of frequent elections. Every few months, some part of the country is voting, bringing governance to a standstill. The model code of conduct holds policy decisions. Security forces are constantly deployed and crores of rupees are drained. Is this sustainable? No. One nation, one election is not just an idea. It is a necessity. Firstly, it will save taxpayers' money. In 2019, the Lok Sabha election alone cost 60,000 crore rupees. Imagine how much we could save if all the elections were held together. This money could be invested in healthcare, education, and infrastructure. Secondly, it will ensure political stability. Frequent elections lead to political instability, with governments focusing on short-term populism rather than long-term governance. If election happens once in 5 years, leaders will work for development rather than appeasement. Thirdly, it will strengthen democracy. With synchronized elections, the focus will shift from rhetoric to real issues like economic growth, employment, and national security. But some may ask, is it feasible? And the answer is again yes. With constitutional amendments and political consensus, these reforms is possible. Our election commission is capable. Our institutions are strong and our democracy is mature. It is time to governance seamlessly and election meaningful. Let's choose progress over politics, unity over division, and efficiency over chaos. The time for one nation, one election is now. Thank you, Judge.
Is an idea or a bill to propose to synchronize all elections in India. That is the Lok Sabha election, the State Assembly election, and the local bodies election all happen at the same time of every 5 years. Instead of having this multiple election, we are having only one election. This concept of simultaneous election is not new in our India. This election have already held in the past few years. That is in the year 1951, 1952, 1957, 1962, and it ends in 1967. Some of the countries that have conducted like the Sweden, Japan, Germany, and Belgium. If we look at the system right now, this multiple election or this election commission, we literally have multiple election in every single year. In example, if we have the election in 2004, in 2024, we have the Lok Sabha election, but immediately after the Lok Sabha election, we saw like some of the states like Jammu, Kashmir, Haryana, Maharashtra, and Jharkhand, and all these elections happened in different months and of the years. Apart from this, from that, there is a multiple local bodies also election in other states. If that happened in the cost of holding multiple seats and local bodies elections, secretly the bill become enormous, and for each election, security forces administration are overburdened. In fact, to put that into a perspective, the government has been established this one election, one nation, one election. The idea behind this is to reduce the frequency of election and also to reduce the cost of conducting a separate election. and also to boost this one nation, one election will help us to boost the India GDP by 1.5% or at about 4.9 crores towards GDP. So in this way, half of it will be spent in healthcare and one third will spend on education budget. And more youth will come and participate. This democracy will become stabilized and also the democracy will become mature. If we have this one nation, one election, the politician also will focus more on the governments rather than election duties. And also some of the administrative will focus more on their tasks rather than election duties. In this way, the time also will be saved and also 1,000 crores of saving will be saved. In one election, one nation, one election will help our country Bharat to develop and the spirit of Bharati will be united. Thank you.
A proposal aimed at holding the Lok Sabha and the State Legislative Assembly simultaneously. The proposal has been championed by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi since 2014, arguing that holding election throughout the years, leading to governor discretion and increase the financial burden. The Law Commission of India has also submitted a report that suggesting the possibilities of simultaneous election. So, how one nation, one election contribute to Viksit Bharat? Firstly, political stability for long-term development. Eliminating frequent election allowed long-term policy implementation for national development. Secondly, economic growth. Reducing election costs allowed funding to be redirected towards infrastructure, healthcare, and education. Good governance. Thirdly, improving short-term populism ensure policy continuity and effective administration. Fourth, stronger democracy, reduce voter frequency, encourage high voters participation. Fifth, infrastructure and digital growth. With fewer elections, government can focus on long-term implementation like projects like smart cities, digital government and industrial development. But however, there is a concern that needs to be addressed like impact on federalism. State issue might dominate in favor of national issue. Secondly,